Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Weeb Shit Monday. Now, I know this is not the usual glamour and glitz that you're used to seeing, all the pretty lights, all the fancy overlays, making everything seem so picture perfect over here in the podcast studio. But this was a show that me and Deadman planned because he is a motherfucker for one. I just want to say this. He knows I am a whore, a gigantic flaming whore for a good revenge story. So he's seen redo of Healer and thought, you know what? Gibby is gonna really enjoy this. And you know what I did? I loved it. I loved it so much I continued on with the manga after I was done with the anime, but that wasn't enough. I needed more, so I had to bring Deadman on to a Weeb Shit Monday to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Weeb Shit Monday, and today our special guest is none other than the host of VT Network himself. Deadman, how you doing today, Bubba?
I am doing well. It has been fun to see you squirm and scream and text me and cringe and have you crawl up the walls while watching this and
And
wonder
I didn't
what
think it
other
would be that
ones.
bad. I didn't
I
think it would be that fucking bad.
I
But then
told
it's like
you.
the first episode, you're like, okay, it's not bad. I like the premise. I like the whole, okay, the healer was dealt a shitty hand and he wants to get revenge on the people that did him dirty. Love the idea. It's a great premise. Episode two. Episode two is where it really got a little, really fucking dark. Like,
Yeah.
it got so there I want to give everybody a content warning before we start this.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking a lot, and I mean an exceptional amount of very sensitive topics, mostly sexual assault. Like, I would love to say that it's more than that, but it's that.
Yeah, this is a very dark anime. This is not for the kids. This is not safe for work in any aspect or form, and it's very much a trigger warning. You know, this kind of thing upsets you, I would definitely skip this episode of Weep Shit Monday. Uh, it is not. This kind of anime is very difficult to get through unless you're a sick fuck like Gibby and I.
Yeah, if you can't handle topics such as this, you might want to skip this one because it's a great story, but it needs a lot, and I mean a lot, to convey them topics. Now, of course, we don't support sexual assault in any
Not at
manner.
all.
I want to make that very clear. But, and here's the but, it worked with the story. I hate to say it, but it worked very well with the story.
And we've talked about this on VT Network when we were talking about examples where things of this nature carry the story forward or are used to carry the story forward. We've used examples like I Spit on Your Grave. And, other examples like that. Last House on the Left was another example. Straw Dogs was another example of these types of elements being used in a story to drive the story forward. And yeah, it's not the main focus of the story. However, it is the element that drives it, and unfortunately, is also the element that makes the story what it is.
And you would like to say that it can't revolve that much around it.
But it
I've said
does.
this. I know. I said that in the very beginning too. I was like, there is no way that this story revolves that much around it. Like, it can't be. But the more you get into the backstory of the healer's interactions with the heroes he was working with, you find out very fucking fast that yeah, that's how it went. Because not only did he get
Well, I guess let's start from the yes. Let's
yeah, I was
start from
about
the
to say
beginning.
let's go all the way from the beginning. If we're gonna talk about this, let's raw dog it. Wrong terminology to use talking about this. God damn
Yeah,
it. Wow.
that's a Freudian slip.
Yeah, you know what? It sounded good in my head, and then it came out, and I'm like, ooh. Well, that's on the internet forever now.
Yep. So I guess the premise of this show is that it is set in a fantasy world, kind of like RPG elements, much like several other shows. However, this kind of takes a very horrible twist with the idea that healers in this world are essentially kept as slaves because if they use their abilities to heal they absorb the pain and memories of the person that they're healing, and often that makes them not want to do it, so they get thrown into bondage, and
I loved
therefore
that so much. I loved that aspect of that simply because getting the memories and all of that from the people that you heal is on one hand great because you can use that to your advantage, which we find out. But on the other hand is such a how much pain you have to endure is saving all of these folks, just learning every small terrible thing that has happened.
also not to mention that if they're not used to war, you know what I mean? If they're not used to the literal horrors of war, much like the main character was, and where he was healing like the sword hero or like the action hero, it takes its toll on someone. You know, seeing battles, seeing bloody, horrible battles, and it did take its toll on the main character the first time around, and it's something that was. I want to say it's a new element because I have kind of heard about kind of these things before, but not used to the extent that it was in this show.
See, I like that. I like that most about this because it took something that is kind of like a one shot, like a one off, like you hear something about it, but it never seems to get brought up ever again.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, they can heal and they get the memories and stuff, but it's never expanded upon. It's never talked about further than that. Where this story took that small plot line, that minute little detail, and made it into the story, made it a major focus. And I think that's one of the things that makes this stand out compared to other hero-esque animes that we've seen.
definitely.
And also seeing healers being treated as trash. 9 times out of 10, whenever we see a healer, they're
Revered. Yeah,
way on a pedestal. I mean, not even in anime, but anywhere. If a healer is talked about, they're talked about with praise, with people at their feet, wanting to be healed, wanting to be brought back to their prior self. But here it's like, you fucking healer.
and
You laugh, but I'm serious.
no, you're right, and that's kind of why I'm laughing is because this whole anime kind of hinges on that treatment of not only the idea of a hero, but the healer. You know what I mean? Like nobody fucks with the gun hero that's in this anime. Nobody fucks with the sword hero. Nobody fucks with the mage hero. Nobody fucks with them. But the healer, because of their status in this world, they're kind of just up for grabs. So, I mean, let's start with the first episode, and let's just start with the opening premise. The opening premise is that our main character is a healer, and it gets gang pressed and gaslighted into serving the kingdom as the healer, and is lied to, and then subsequently is thrown into bondage and treated like
A dog.
a piece of meat for
Oh, yeah.
years.
And I mean, this isn't like simple torture either. This is like
No.
drug-induced torture, forced sexual acts that he does not want to do, but because he is so doped up and does not have any kind of resistance against he is forced to be their love slave.
Yeah. And, several elements of this happen throughout the first, time he lives his life. And so, it's very brutal, and it does not shy away from the brutality of his treatment. And so, it's not and this goes on for years, you know what I mean? And like I said, and this is important because when we come back to this element, it happens much quicker the second time around. So for years and years and years, he is this subjugate, to everything that happens to him. And then he does build an immunity to the drugs and to the poisons that they use on him, and then kind of backstabs them all. And then
I loved that. I loved that when they were all on the battlefield.
Yeah.
They're like, "You stupid healer! Why don't you?" Which hero was it that was down? Was it the sword?
it was all
the
of
sword
them.
hero?
All of them were down.
Well,
The
Princess.
last one that was down was the sword hero.
Yeah, and she kept on saying like, "Heal everybody else, heal everybody else." He's like, "Fuck you." No, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to be the hero this time. And he does.
And he
He
does.
shows up and shows out.
And he develops the skills that he needs and the intelligence he needs to bypass them all and defeat the Demon King and take the main prize, which is the Philosopher's Stone. And everybody that I show this to goes, "Oh, the Philosopher's Stone, like Harry Potter." I'm like, no, the concept of the Philosopher's Stone has existed far before Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was waiting for that because the guy I work with was like, "Oh, the Philosopher's Stone, like Harry Potter," and I was like, I know I want to say, I know I want to say yes, but I know if I say that, I could just feel Deadman. I could just feel the hand raised. Like if you say yes, I swear to God, I will come down from the wrath of 1,000 gods on the back of your head.
And so he does. He takes the prize, and the prize that he chooses to take is to redo his life with the knowledge that he has now. And so he does. He is reborn. The world resets 20-something years later. Hello, Kinzo Slice. He is reborn. Everything gets reset. So essentially, when he gets gang pressed back into service at the age of 16, he's technically like what, 30-something at this point.
Yeah.
With the redo. And so he figures out how to get essentially a cheat which allows him to see levels and see compositions and stuff. And on top of that, just begins his crusade against the people that enslaved him the first time. And he
Now,
lets it happen.
one thing I loved about this is the score that they added. Every time he talked about getting revenge, it was that perfect track of just, the most vile shit is coming.
Yeah.
Like, it's never anything soft when he comes to get his revenge. Because, mind you, this is not a simple revenge. Like, I don't want to say... I'm going to say this nicely, but it's not supposed to be this nice. Like, you killed... How does that long line from The Princess Bride go?
"Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die."
Yeah, it's not as simple as that. Like, it's...
More clean
this guy...
as that.
Yeah, it's never clean. It's not clean. It is a torch. It is a year after year after year after adventure after adventure after brutal beating after brutal being made to be a dog. That kind of revenge. That is a sick kind of revenge that he has planned.
Oh yeah, and it shows. And so he does allow himself to get gang pressed back into service the second time around. Only this time, like I said, he knows what's going to happen, so he builds up an immunity to the drugs and to the poisons they're going to use on him early on. So instead of spending years in servitude, he only spends I think
6 months,
6 months or 3 or 4 months or something like that, and then begins to enact his revenge.
Now, mind you, before we get to the revenge part, because the revenge part is, remember that content warning I gave you in the beginning? Yeah, this is where it starts right here.
Yeah.
One thing that they make note of when he's building up the resistance to drugs, he goes into the forest because he knows they're coming. Like, when he wakes up with another chance, he's like, okay, this time I'm going to do it a lot faster. It's not going to take me so long. I'm going to do it ASAP. So what does he do? He goes into the forest near his hometown and eats narcotic mushrooms. He eats mushrooms so he can build up that drug tolerance that much quicker. And the night before he decides to finally enact his revenge, it shows a couple nights throughout the 6 months where he gets sexually assaulted by not only male guards, also females that want his power. Because they mention that if he incides them anywhere, they can take some of his power along with them.
Or at least it's what they believe. It's not true, but that's what they believe.
It's what they believe, and there was a scene. This I'm gonna list off the moments that made me go. Now one of those scenes was when they were showing the scene where he is getting violated by both man and woman at the same time, and he comes inside the girl's mouth, and the guy was like, "Don't hog it all," and then proceeds to kiss her with all of the love juice in his mouth. And that was scene number one where I was like,
He gets a
oh,
snowball. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh, fuck me. Oh, that's gross. It's animated. I still can't. That was disgusting.
Yeah,
Okay.
they show they do not shy away from anything. Like it's very graphic, and so
Not a single thing.
after all this, after all this happens, he starts his revenge, including stealing a body that he believes he's entitled to, which is the captain of the guards, which I think is hilarious, because he went from like a skinny,
Scrawny little boy.
scrawny twink kind of guy to this like 6 foot something massive man, and then begins his revenge, and his first victim is the mage hero,
Princess. Princess Flair.
Princess Flair, and that is a long drawn out scene.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so mind you, I was watching this in my car while all of this was happened, and my phone was connected to my Bluetooth speakers in my car. Like my entire speakers. So once that all started to happen, I was like, oh, I'm going to turn this off right now. Because some of those, again, content warning here. Some of those scenes where he was talking about his rod compared to the fire poker, that creeps me out because I was like, man, this is some Hills Have Eyes type shit where he says, you can either let me violate you with my rod or violate you with a red hot poker, the other rod.
And the choice is yours, and of course she takes, the one that's not going to permanently injure her. And it's a very long, drawn out scene, and he does, and he does essentially kill her by taking away her personality and her memories and turning her into somebody completely different with the powers that he's acquired.
And one thing I yelled when like he did that, like completely wiped her memories and changed her into a different person, I yelled in my car, I'm like, you fucking deserve that. You deserve every piece of that. Not every piece, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And here's item number 2 on Gibby's ick list. So in this, there's another thing that we didn't include because I wanted to save it for this, where he takes all of her fingers and breaks them one by one. He says, I will play a game with you. If you can go all 10 fingers without making a single sound, I'll let you go. I'll stop it right here. I will finish it and we will...
Nope, froze up a little bit. Don't worry, folks. We'll be right back. But it is a brutal scene. The scene he's describing.
We'll go any further. And she of course...
There he is. He's back.
Yeah, it's a very... There we go. I'm back. So it's a very brutal scene. And then she gets down to the last finger. And you're like, okay, she's going to make it. And he breaks it. And she's just sobbing and crying over the table. Just, tears rolling down her face. And then you hear that one word that I don't think anybody was expecting. Because I know I wasn't. He puts his hand over her hands and says the word heal.
Yep.
All 10 fingers come back unbroken, and he starts again. And then proceeds, snaps one of her fingers. She lets out a loud scream. And he says, you know what? You are so close to finishing. And then the scene happens. Oh, again, like I said, I don't condone anything that happened in that entirety of the scene. But the finger breaking, I was kind of like, you know what? A little bit, you fucking dickhead. You kind of deserve that one.
It is, and like I said, it is extremely brutal, and I can't find other words to describe it as other than, fucking brutal. And
yeah, there's nothing else. Like you can't. This anime has so many gray areas that you have to go over. Because it's like.
Because it's this anime is so gray, right? Like the whole hentai aspect aside, everything about this is so fucking morally gray because you have to then question your own morals of like, would I condone this were I in this situation? Would I condone this if I knew this happened to somebody I know? And I don't. And the of course the moral answer is I don't know. But
And
the vengeful answer, the answer that you want because you're a human being with empathy, is fuck yes, I condone this. They get to have all these horrible things happen to them, and it's one of those moral fucking dilemmas, and I kind of like that about this anime, that it put me in such a gray space that I'm just like, I don't know what
you had to think
to
about it.
think. Yeah,
Yeah,
holy
you had to
shit.
sit and think about it. Because, of course, like you said, when it comes down to topics like this, you're going to think, like, would I do that if I was in that situation? Would I let this happen to somebody knowing that they did this to me? And within the second episode, you're already questioning your morality looking at it. But then you get farther into it, and that question becomes deeper and deeper. Just knowing some of the things that happen. And you're like, would I be okay just sitting watching this? Would I do the same thing? Would I enact the same revenge that this guy wanted? Now, obviously, the revenge that we would enact would be a lot different because we're not doing the years and years of torture that this guy suffered. But
Yeah.
it's still the fact of what kind of revenge would we enact? And then we finish off episode 2 with Princess Flare completely losing her memory, losing who she is. And what's the main character's name? I cannot remember it for the life of me.
Oh, he has two, so I don't really remember.
We'll just call him the MC. We'll just go with
Yeah.
the MC because I don't really know which one to use. So the MC at the end of episode 2, when Flare wakes up from being killed by the guard that he, decided to take his body,
Yeah.
she wakes up and she goes, "Who are you? I don't know who you are." And he says, "You don't remember me? I'm your lover," or something along those lines.
Yeah, I saved you. We're
We're bonded.
bonded.
And then he proceeds to say, "And now to get all your memories back, we gotta fuck."
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, if you want to remember all of these feelings that you had for me, I'm gonna have to lay some pipe. And he's like, "But before I did, you always begged me first." And I just thought, in the back of my head, I was like, that is the most fuck you thing to do to somebody that has wronged you. Because not only does he say you have to beg me, but he tells her what to say. And she says it, which is something along the lines of, "I'm a dirty sow." Which that word gets used quite a bit. Sow. I noticed that.
Yeah, curse, sow, all
Yeah.
these kinds of things. It's like,
Yeah. And I'm like, that's such a weird insult to call somebody, but I'm all for it. Like, I'm all for calling somebody a cur or a sow. The first time I seen it, I was like, what the fuck is that name? What the fuck? I know a sow is like a baby cow or something.
no, sow is a pig.
Oh, a sow is a pig. Oh, that makes those scenes even. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
now
second.
now you're kind of like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's weird. And then we meet the second. This is a harem anime, folks. I would like to remind you, it's not only action, adventure, hentai, it's also a harem anime. So there's going to be multiple girls, so we gotta keep up the pace here. Now, obviously, we got to go buy a slave. In this, you're in an anime, they're going to go buy a slave. He finds a girl sitting in the back of a cell because she's injured. And he says, "I want her," because he went to heal her. He went to heal her, and he's seen all of her memories and seen that her clan had got murdered trying to protect her. So he says, "Her, I want to buy her." And of course, the shopkeep said, "Well, why would you want her? She ain't going to get no stronger. That's about the biggest she's going to get." Basically, run to the litter type shit.
Yeah.
And he says, no, her. I want her. He's like, "Okay, whatever. No refunds, man. You take her. That's yours. That's all yours."
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, like it's yours. So he takes her, and then he sits her on the bed, and after she wakes up, they have this long
After
conversation.
he nourishes her back to health, and
Yeah, actually nourishes her. Let's not muddy them waters yet. He actually takes care of her to full rejuvenation, if one must say. So he He fully rejuvenates her.
yeah.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So after they have a conversation, he's like, "You want to kill these people, right?" Well, yeah. You want these people dead, right? Yes. Okay. Now, unfortunately, you won't get any bigger and stronger than what you are currently. Then he uses an analogy of a glass, yada, yada, yada. And he says, I can make you stronger. I can make you gain more power. And she says, how do you do that? How are you going to do that? He's like, I got to lay some pipe. I'm going to use that phrase a lot. And it's not because I'm trying to be joking. Like, I'm not trying to make funny ha-has.
No, it's literally what he does. He's like, well, you got to take the yuck.
Yeah, it's like, I got to lay some pipe in order for you to get stronger. And she's like, I don't know if I can. He's like, then stay weak, I guess. I don't know what you want me to do.
Get fucked, stay fucked, you know?
Exactly. So then it, of course, hentai, boop, happens. And we go past that. And then she's like, I feel stronger. And after that, I just thought, oh, that's gross. That is odd.
It's not even that. It's that it goes full hentai where it's like, oh, not only do I feel stronger, but I want more of that. And of course, like turn the hentai to 11 because here we go. It's
Oh, it's there. They really took that, like, hey, here's a hentai. Ramp that bitch up to 35.
yeah.
And then we get a beautiful revenge scene with the ice wolf and the MC, where she gets revenge on everybody, because it's not just normal I'm gonna kill everyone. It's rip and tear sort of revenge.
Yeah.
Like Doomslayer on meth sort of revenge.
Do you want me to do the Doomslayer?
Do it. It's needed. And when we talk about this scene,
oh no, fucking piggies, tankies, Nikoman, welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining in. For anybody who's listening on the podcast feed, this is a live broadcast over on twitch.tv/podcast addy. If you're wondering why Deadman keeps talking to everybody, he did take his schizophrenic medicine today, so he is okay. We're making sure of that.
But the rip and tear.
And that's how it was. And at the end, instead of like a maniacal laughter like we usually get from the MC when a revenge scene happens or a new plot forms, she's crying.
Yeah.
You see a close-up of her face with tears just rolling down her cheek, and they ended up, of course, hentai, fucking. But then he's like, why were you crying? And she said, because I loved it.
Yeah.
I want to do more of it. I want more people to kill. He says, then join me. I understand we're done with your revenge, but help me get revenge on people that I want to get revenge on. And you can join us. And of course, harem anime, so we're all for it. So now, count them two. Not only do we have Princess Flare, but we also have Ice Wolf Girl.
Yeah. Ice Wolf Girl joins the party.
And of course, beginning of the next episode, they're all fucking. All doing some good old-fashioned USA fucking, Because that would be episode 5 is what we're
around
we're
4 or
into.
5, yeah, I think.
Yeah,
so.
around episode 4 or 5.
We get some more filler episodes about just how powerful the main character is and like all the stuff that he can do, and then we have another character enter the frame, which is the she's not the sword hero, but she's like the knight, you know what I mean, of the kingdom.
Yeah,
and he kind of like gang presses. He gaslights the fuck out of her.
Gaslights her, but then holds his own. He holds his own in that fight.
What's up, Mustard? And yeah, he holds his own in the fight, and then kind of gaslights her into being part of the harem, but not really. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
More of an informant.
Yeah.
I mean, he still lays dong. Like, he still lays the pipe into her.
He still throws the hot dog down the hallway. Yeah.
He still gives her that hot fucking me.
So I think it's and of course this is just the hentai aspect of this show, and so of course that goes on and on and on. So we get more and more, and then finally we get to a point where we see one of the other characters that he's seeking revenge on kind of ramp things up about the death of her sister, Princess Flare, and starts to blame demons and starts to blame the other creatures in the kingdom. Kind of goes full Third Reich with it. And the
And
main character,
he's not even joking about that. Like you think like
no,
Deadman is being hyperbolic about it.
I'm
No.
not.
She is standing in town square, in the
Yeah,
middle of town square, saying demons are evil. Because of them, you cannot survive in a happy world. A happy world will no longer exist with demons and humans coexisting. So what we must do is eradicate them all. Once we eradicate them, humans will live a happier life. And then the crowd's like, the fuck?
yeah, but
What?
we're right here.
Yeah,
We're
I,
right here. Like
here's
she's
my
doing
demon
this.
wife.
Yeah, here's my demon shopkeeper. Here's my demon barber. Here's my demon accountant. And so fucking so she
He should
goes
go to hell for how good he counts my numbers.
so she goes full Third Reich and starts like this whole attempted genocide, and ends up killing one of the main characters, like only cool people that
Oh, that pissed me off.
isn't trying to like take advantage of the main character. And homie takes it personally.
Oh, as he should. I mean, well, and it's the death. The way Deadman is describing it, he makes the death sound kind of like it was like
Blase.
it makes it sound blasé. But a scene before that really will tug at your heartstrings is they're having this conversation about like, do you have a dream? Do you have anything bigger you want to do? And the shopkeeper says, yes, I want to move to a bigger city and run a bigger store. I don't want to
With,
be a low.
family
He's like,
and everything.
yeah, he's like, I don't want to be a lowly shopkeep. And main character's like, I get that, I will help you in whatever way I can. The next thing we know is dead.
Gone.
To fucking dead. So of course the main character rip and fucking tear. I would love to
Yep.
say it's anything else, but it's rip and tear. Just tears through all of the soldiers, and of course finds where Princess Flair's little sister is staying.
Not yet. Not yet. That's actually afterwards, because he goes after the sword hero first.
Oh, that's right. Right, the sword. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Thank you. So
And
the
this
sword
is-
hero.
This is probably this is probably at the point of the anime where even I was like, I don't fucking know. Like
I don't like this. Like this is
Even-
this is giving me an ick.
even for me, I was like, this is far. And I am a sick fuck. I've seen all sorts of fucked up anime, and even I was like, this is much. This is very, very much.
Yeah.
To put this in like the most vague, safe for work terms possible,
to stay in
his-
within Twitch's TOS.
the revenge that he concocts for the sword hero, that is a female, that is a man-hating lesbian, for all things.
For less of a word.
Yeah, lack of better terms here. He uses magic to enlist several men to either
Eat her.
fill one hunger or the other hunger, and it is up to
That's all
her.
simple.
Yeah, and it's up to her to satiate one hunger or the other hunger. If she doesn't satiate the primal hunger, she gets the other literal hunger.
And of course
and-
she gets ate.
And she fails because he breaks her psychologically by using a very dirty tactic, and she does in the end. She's
ate.
dinner. She's dinner in the end, and it is once again, this is a very long, drawn out scene, and it is. And this is even for me at this point in the anime. I'm just like, I don't know.
Remember when we said that there are going to be some scenes in this anime that really make you question your morality?
Yeah.
like question how you would act when that happens. This one of them. This is one of them. Because not only was she, abusive to the main character like the rest of the heroes, which we are going to talk about Bullet's
Whole thing in a minute.
yeah. But after Princess Flare, when she still had all of her memories and was still the leader, would pour drugs on her hooch and make the main character lick it off because, of course, drug addict and drugs.
Yeah.
So after that, she'd beat him and send him outside. The Blade hero would see this. This was the part that made me go, So after the main character would stumble outside, broken, beaten, kicked the absolute fuck out of, and I mean just absolutely beat, he'd lay on the ground, basically unconscious, and the sword hero would be like, this tongue has touched Princess Flare's vagine. So she started making out with an unconscious little boy, in light of a lesser word. And while she is making out with said boy, she decides to, do herself in. And then once she's done, she realizes, oh God, I just kissed a man, and then throws up. It's sick. It's one of those, you think of that scene, and then you think of the scene with the three men and her getting eaten. And it's just another moral, it's a moral fight that you have to have. Like,
Yeah.
would I be okay watching that? Which is what the main character does that entire time. He doesn't just sit and watch. He eats food the entire time, which I thought was great. They could not have made the main character do anything better than to actually eat food. When one of the sort of stipulations was, if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, they're going to eat you. And just having him say and eat steak and ribs.
And
in my opinion, it was perfect cinematography, if you want me to be completely honest.
It was really well shot. I want to add on to something. The main character is not the only person that these people abused. Let's get that straight.
No.
The Blade hero also would drug and sexually assault women, like, on a constant basis.
Oh yeah.
The mage hero would also constantly abuse the maids that they had in the tower in her kingdom for her own sexual gratification. These are not good people. Like, not even in the fucking slightest. They had zero redeeming qualities about them except for the title of hero. That's it.
And that's it.
And then, like, these were horrible fucking people, and so that's where you end up with this conundrum where you're just like, they're terrible goddamn people. They've done terrible, horrible, fucking vile things. Do they deserve this? And there's a piece of you that's like, fuck yeah, they deserve this. And then at the other time, it's like, couldn't you have just like straight up murdered them?
Yeah, couldn't you just found them in the back alley and just give them a good old and called it a lifetime?
Called it a day, But why has it got to be all this drawn out shit? Why do they have to be literally cannibalized? Like, it's
but another thing,
much.
Another thing we have to think of is he says from the very beginning, "I want my revenge exactly how they did me."
Yeah, it's gonna be on par.
It's not a simple, like, he even made it very clear. Like, usually I would agree with you on something like that. Like, why couldn't they make the scene shorter or a little less in your face with it?
No, but you're right though. He did at the very beginning say it's going to be as cruel and as drawn out and as long as they abused me. And you're all right. Like, he did specify that.
I was gonna bring up a point, but then I forgot that it was in the manga, and I'm like, oh fuck, I can't bring that up. Damn it, son of a bitch.
I mean, you can bring it up. I mean,
well, one of the things, it's not a huge spoiler, but he thinks that Bullet dies, and that instantly pisses him right off.
Oh.
Because he's like, I got fucking robbed of my chance to kill this motherfucker. Are you serious? I can't get revenge on him? I got that robbed from me? And that's all I'm going to leave you with on the manga, because I can't give any more. Can't give any more, folks. That's spoiler territory right there.
Yeah. And
Now,
so let's talk about the one that he didn't get to in this season, and that is the Bullet Hero. And the Bullet Hero, it's just, they all have their fantasy weapons. Of course, you have the Blade Hero, self-explanatory. The Mage Hero, self-explanatory. The Healer,
Bullet.
self-explanatory. But then you got Bullet, who motherfucker wields a Gatling gun. Don't know
What
how
do they
that
call-
makes sense in a magical world, but Wingardium Glockiosa, bro. Like,
Why do they call you Bullet? You fucking tell me.
let's explore that.
Oh, I don't
So
want to explore this one because this one really fucks me up.
Bullet is. Oh god, this is so difficult to put in like terms of service.
Deadman, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. I've
Okay,
I've talked enough on your show. Please go ahead.
Hey, you remember a lot more. I remember like big details. You remember all the small, minute details. So this is where I come in. Bullet was another one of the heroes that the healer had been a part of the party of. And unlike Freya, or Flare, sorry, unlike Flare or the sword hero, what Bullet did, he thought he was helping the main character. He thought that he loved the main character so much. He would, he would think that what he was about to do was love. And this is the perfect definition of an abusive, narcissistic relationship. And I noticed that while watching it, while hearing what he was saying. He basically sexually assaulted the healer, which, I mean, that's kind of like that. You seen that coming. If you didn't see that coming after hearing everything else the other heroes did, I don't know what to tell you. That's a you problem at that point. You should know just by that. But after that, he would beat him. And I would not mean like a simple, 1-2 punch, because Bullet ain't exactly like a small character. He has to be a 7 foot, 8 foot, gigantuan person. Beat up on this little twink healer. And then would say, I love you. I'm sorry for hitting you. I won't do it again tomorrow. I'll love you even more tomorrow. I'll love you better tomorrow. And he would do this all after beating the shit out of the main character. And then it's hard. This is one of the hardest scenes to talk about, simply because we all know somebody that has went through something like this. So it is very hard to describe. He grabbed the main character's throat and said, I just want you to stay young forever. Like, I want you to keep this young, boyish face on you forever. And almost killed him and almost broke his neck, but then let go and walked away. It infuriates me that we did not get to see anything happen to Bullet. Like, I would rather the sword hero be the last one that gets fucked with, After watching a scene like that, I wanted Bullet to be dead in that first season. But we don't even get a touch of him beyond flashbacks. Like, beyond flashbacks, we get nothing.
Yeah. And so we're kind of left with that hanging in the rafters after the first season. And then and then of course we have the little sister Flare that kind of gets the same treatment that Flare got. She gets her mind erased and she gets added to the harem. And I guess that's of course, the late pipe.
Like,
and,
the pipe.
And but anyway, so and that's the end of the first season, right? Like, he's going after Bullet next, and that's where we leave off. But this anime is so dark and so visceral, and it is very unapologetic in the themes that it portrays. And there are other animes out there that are similar, but I don't think I've ever seen one this extreme.
No, I've never watched an anime that was so open with taking sexual assault as a part of revenge.
Yeah.
That's the difference between this and other animes that I've watched. Obviously, scenes like this happen, but it's like creepy guy, younger girl, or older woman, younger guy. That trope. But this one really puts the emphasis on revenge with it, and that's what throws me off so much. Is because it makes you kind of feel bad for the people this is happening to, but then when you see what they did to the main character, it it lights a fire up under your loins watching it. Because you're just like, ooh, you are a piece of shit. You are, like Deadman said, most of the people that got revenge on him are pieces of shit. They are not good fucking people in any use of the term good. They are awful. So it's a very moral gray area. And that's something I told Deadman that was bothering me while I was watching this anime is it's not really the content because, we're sick fucks. We've watched sick fuck things before. It's, another Tuesday for us. But what it was the inner monologue you had with yourself trying to figure out, do I agree? Do I think this is right? Or do I think that this is wrong in the sense that it shouldn't happen? And that's where you kind of hit that real fucking, this motherfucker ain't a little black, a little white. No, it is gray. It is grayer than me and Deadman during our seasonal depression. That's how gray it is.
Pretty gray, yeah. And, I found this anime and I don't want to say I was ready for it, but I was definitely like prepared. I was like, all right, let's see how fucked up we can get. That's pretty fucked up. Okay. It's still going.
Enough slices.
It hasn't stopped.
Enough slices.
Yeah, you're right. It's enough slices.
That's how it was. And we're not telling you guys this to defer you away from it, like whatsoever. Yeah. We want you to watch this and enjoy it.
If this does not set off any triggers for you, that is, please keep in mind that this is a very sexual based anime. This is heavily. It is a hentai essentially. This does deal with some very heavy, some very dark themes. There is violence involved. If you can't get past those themes, please don't look this up. Please stay away from this. I said
enjoy
it on
the
my
review,
show.
but that's about it.
Yeah, enjoy the review. Enjoy us talking about it. And I said it on my show that this is a really fucked up anime. Do not look it up. But
you even got Mustard to say, "What the fuck did you show me?"
Yeah, Mustard tapped out, and and the thing is that it's just if you can deal with these themes, then yes, it is a really deep, harsh revenge story. If you cannot deal with these themes, that's fine. Nobody's gonna make fun of you. Nobody's gonna judge you for that. Not at all.
If you tell me you didn't finish this, I'm like, I understand.
We understand completely.
Usually I'll make fun of you. Yeah, usually I'll make fun of you for not finishing an anime or a manga because it's too. This one I'd be like, yeah, I get it.
We get it. Yeah, we understand.
Yeah, I understand 100%.
So yeah, if you can stand those themes, then yeah, look it up. If you cannot, then just bypass this one and just know that we went through this so you didn't have to. Yeah, Mustard didn't finish it. He said in the chat. And you know what, dude? That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We're not judging you. We're not gonna make fun of you. Like this is not an easy fucking. This is anime on hard.
Yeah. This is like watching an anime, and if you can sit, I think I would be more impressed if you could sit through this anime and none of it gave you the ick. Not a single scene.
Then I would say you need to seek some therapy. You need to talk to someone.
Like a professional, not just me or Deadman or anybody. No. You need to pay somebody.
Reach out, homie. Reach out.
I'll give you numbers. I'll give you numbers to call.
Yeah. Like if you can sit through all of this, Yeah, don't watch if you're an SA survivor. Yeah, very much true. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
yes.
It is quite triggering, yeah. And that's exactly.
Or even domestic violence with that scene with Bullet.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you that out of all the scenes that happened, mind you, some of them did make me go, ugh, like fucking just made my skin crawl. The scene with Bullet, I had to put my phone down. I had to walk away. Like that was one scene where myself, Mr. can sit through a lot of shit. I had to set my phone down and walk away for a couple minutes and collect myself because that was a very harsh scene. Now, I'm not saying any of the other ones are harsh, but that's one that's like the phrasing, the wording,
a bit much. Yeah.
the way it was portrayed. I mean, the best way I could put this is they talked to somebody who had been through that and then put it into animation. with how
Yeah,
spot on it is, and
but
it's fucked.
so yeah. As for the rating, I don't know. I believe you do ratings, don't you?
I, yeah, here and there if I decide to feel frisky. Let's give it a rating.
Uh,
I give it 4 anime titties out of 5.
I give it 4 out of 5 as well. With its sequel baiting and its nerd, I cannot imagine it would get a second season.
No,
uh,
no, it's pretty far in the manga though. Like I will give it that. It's pretty.
well, I mean,
It's halfway.
mangas
It's
you can
halfway.
publish whatever, but
Yeah, I don't see it getting a second season. I read through their Twitter feed like of the company that made it, and they're like, if you guys show it love, we'll make a second season. And I'm like, oh, you know, we want a second season. We know we want to
we
see
want to see
Bullet.
this concluded, but at the same fucking time, it's like, yeah, I don't really want to support this publicly.
Well, the thing is like, it doesn't get some of those scenes aren't as harsh further on, so it's not as like
Some of
skin
them, yeah.
crawly. So,
So
and I would support this publicly. I mean, I've talked about it on my TikTok. I've talked about Twitter. I've talked about it on Facebook. I enjoyed it, and I will say I enjoyed it with my whole ass chest.
I did enjoy it. It was one of like I said, is one of the more extreme animes I've ever watched, and it's
It's
like,
the
it's
story
one of
that
those-
draws you in.
It is, and like I said, if none of these things are triggering to you, which is SA, which is domestic violence, which is sexual assault, rape, and stuff like that, then yeah, go ahead. If any of those things trigger you, please don't watch this.
Nope.
Don't
Touch it.
do that, and don't show it
Just
to
listen to
anybody who
reviews.
has. Okay, don't be that dick.
Yeah, no,
'cause,
do not.
that's also something that I kind of do not condone. You know what I mean?
No.
Don't do that. You know what I mean? I did it by accident, and I still feel bad about it. And don't do that. Don't show it to somebody to be, oh hey, I'm going to show you something that's fucked up. And no, don't do that.
Right.
Inform them of what this is. You know what I mean? And get there.
Please,
get there.
please, for the love of God, give them like the full breakdown too. Don't just be like, oh, wait till this episode. No, fully explain to them what they are about to watch, because you can give them like a borderline. You can give them a general description, like, oh, it's about a healer who wants to get revenge on heroes that were pissed, that were like dicks to him. That sounds great. That sounds like a normal thing. But then you forget then you forget about those details, and then they watch it, and it sends them back, and it's like, that's fucked, bro. Like if you're gonna tell if you're gonna inform somebody about something like this, I mean, even at normal hentai,
Yeah.
always fucking inform somebody before you recommend them the fucked up parts too. Don't just tell them about the good parts. Tell them about the fucked up parts that happen too.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where I want to leave off with is if you watch it, be warned. If you want to share it with other people after you watch it, please just inform them of what the content is, because it is a lot.
Fucked.
It is a lot, and it is fucked.
All right. Well, Deadman, thank
Yeah.
you for joining me. I appreciate you, Bubba.
Thank you.
And I got one last question for you.
Uh,
Who's your favorite waifu? Out of the harem, who's your favorite?
from Redo.
Yeah. Who's your favorite?
The Knight.
Really? The Knight?
Yeah.
Wolf Girl. Wolf Girl all day. Well,
I kind of figured.
we forgot to mention Eve, but Eve really doesn't have
No, she doesn't.
an important
really
role
count.
this season.
No,
Yeah, she doesn't have that important of a role this season.
I say the Knight because one, she's the most informed, and two, she's not really brainwashed into loving him. You know?
No, she kind of just does it like,
Yeah.
you can beat me in a sword fight. Give me the
I
dawn.
guess it's time to get that pipe.
Yep, Wolf Girl. But anyways, Deadman, where can they find you at, man? Please tell them. Please inform the ladies and gentlemen at home.
VT Network 2 on all social medias, VTNetwork84@gmail.com if you want to email the show. And we stream every Sunday at youtube.com at VT Network 2. And that includes Gibby. And we have a very special surprise coming this Sunday, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. VT Network 200 everywhere else, and of course, we have a Patreon if you want stickers. I have stickers here waiting to go out. A little preview. Not a lot.
I'm so ready.
And you guys get
Xbox
stickers
is
on our Patreon, and it's patreon.com/VT Network. So check it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another episode of Weeb Shit Monday with the amazing Dick. Can we just give him a little golf clap real quick for joining us and also showing me this fucked beauty that it is? And obviously, if you want to find me anywhere, twitter.com/enoughsnuff. You want to see this beautiful face, instagram.com/podcastdaddy. If you want to listen to the podcast version on all podcasting platforms to ever exist. If you want to watch me and Deadman look each other sensually into the eyes, go to youtube.com/@podcastdaddy. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day, have a beautiful night, and as always, for the love of God, just because we know you watch anime, keep your balls clean.